us. This is an economic system designed to fail the majority while enriching the few.
Tonight, we're going to dissect this exploitative system piece by piece. We're going to compare it with some of the world has conveniently forgotten, the Hindu economic circular model, a system that was so advanced, so sustainable. It sustained the wealthiest civilization on Earth for thousands of years.
And we're going to introduce you to a nation that's doing what no other country on this planet Earth dares to do. Make food a constitutional right, not a charitable afterthought. Welcome to KAILASA.
But before we get to solutions, let's talk about the crisis. Because you can't fix a problem without understanding it. And trust me, this crisis is far worse than you think.
Let me paint you a picture of our world in 2025. In a wealthy city, a businessman throws away half his restaurant meal. Too full, too rich, too much.
In a developing nation, a mother waters down the porridge so her children can have a full bowl. It's their only meal today.
In a prosperous metropolis, grocery stores dump perfectly edible food into locked dumpsters. Yes, locked. So those struggling can't access it.
In a conflict-torn region, 2.2 million children are acutely malnourished. Not because there's no food in the world, but because they can't afford it.
This is the geography of hunger in the 21st century. According to the 2024 UN Environmental Programme Food Waste Index report, households alone waste 631 million tons of food annually. Not farms, not factories, households.
That's over 1 billion meals thrown away every single day. 1 billion meals in the trash, while 783 million people are starving.
And here's where the story gets even darker. It's not just about hunger anymore. It's about the quality of hunger, the economics of nutrition. See, hunger has evolved. It's gotten sophisticated. Now it comes in multiple forms, each designed by the same broken system.
In the affluent West, obesity is an epidemic. In the global South, malnutrition is a crisis. You'd think this is an opposite problem, but they're not. These are two sides of the same coin.
Let me explain. In developed nations, fresh vegetables cost a fortune. A piece of fruit, $5. A bag of leafy greens, $6.
But a fast food burger, $1. A bag of chips, 90
are the emptiest calories. So what happens? Families struggling financially in wealthy countries eat only food they can afford. Processed garbage, high in calories, zero in nutrition. They're simultaneously overfed and undernourished.
In developing nations, it's even more brutal. The same processed junk foods flood the market, and the local agriculture can't compete with subsidized imports. People lose access to nutrient-dense food that they have been eating for millennia.
Food systems collapse, so they're left with the same choice: cheap calories or no calories. This is what economists call poverty-obesity paradox. But that's just a sanitized term for a brutal reality. The poorer you are, the sicker the system makes you.
You can't afford to be healthy. Health is a luxury good.
Congratulations, humanity. We've turned malnutrition into a subscription service. Choose your plan. You can starve in the traditional sense, or you can slowly poison yourself with affordable garbage marketed as food.
What an achievement. We should put that in our resume as a species.
Now, let me give you numbers that should make your blood boil. 2.6 billion people cannot afford a healthy diet in 2024. That's 33% of the human population. 1 in 3 people on this planet Earth can't access proper nutrition. But it's not because we do We don't have food as a humanity.
The economic cost of malnutrition, $3.5 trillion per year. That's $500 for every man, woman, and child on Earth. Lost productivity, healthcare costs, stunted development, generational poverty.
The cost of food waste is another $1 trillion annually. So we're hemorrhaging $4.5 trillion every year because we can't figure out how to feed people properly.
That's more than some of the world's largest economies, the entire GDP of those countries. Just gone, wasted, lost.
And here's the cruelest irony. Malnutrition doesn't just hurt individuals. It drags down entire economies. Studies show that malnutrition costs countries up to 11% of the GDP in many regions across Africa and Asia. That's healthcare expenses, lost productivity, reduced cognitive development in children.
You want to know why some countries can't develop? Start with malnutrition. You want to know why healthcare costs are exploding? Start with diet-related diseases. You want to know why the global economy is stagnating? Start with the fact that we're systematically malnutrishing most of our labor force.
But wait, it gets worse, because this isn't accidental. This is a system working exactly as it's designed to.
So let's stop dancing around the issue and call the system as it is. Extraction capitalism. It doesn't create value, it extracts value.
From the earth, from farmers, from workers, from needs. Take something people need to survive, like food, and turn it into a profit center. Food stops being nourishment. It becomes a product, a market opportunity, a line item on a quarterly earnings report.
Your hunger isn't a moral issue for the system. It's a revenue stream. Your health isn't the goal. Your wallet is. This is why food companies spend billions on processing, packaging, and advertising, but pennies on nutrition. Because the profit isn't feeding you well. It's in making you buy more.
Step 2. Industrial blame overpopulation.
Never mind that the industrial agriculture is responsible for 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Never mind that it's depleted 40% of the world's topsoil. And never mind that these farms use 70% of global fresh water while millions lack clean drinking water. These are not just externalities. In economic speak, that means not our problem.
And step 3, consolidate control. Here's a fact that should terrify you. Just 10 corporations control almost every food brand that you buy. They own hundreds of brands. They control the supply chain. They set the prices. They dictate what goes on grocery store shelves. You think you have a choice. You have the illusion of choice.
And when a handful of corporations control the food supply, they can do something that's even more sinister. Create artificial scarcity. Not because there's no food, but because scarcity drives up the prices, and higher prices means higher profits.
It's Economics 101, twisted into a weapon.
And now, step 4, externalize the costs. This is the most brilliant and most evil part of the system. Who pays when the industrial farming destroys the soil? Not the corporations. Who pays?
The costs are socialized. The profits are privatized. This isn't a bug in the system. This is the system.
Let me make this crystal clear with examples from some of the wealthiest nations on earth. These are countries with the highest GDP per capita, the most advanced economies, and the developed world. And yet,
for example, in the United Kingdom, 9.5 million tons of food are wasted every year, enough to feed 30 million people. Meanwhile, 8.4 million people in that same nation. And the same is true in the South Pacific. 7.6 million tons of food are wasted annually. That's 312 kgs per person. Yet, 3.4 million households struggled to put a meal on their tables last year.
These aren't developing nations struggling with infrastructure. These are some of the richest countries in the world, and they're throwing away mountains of food with their own citizens going hungry.
Let's talk about the economic devastation this causes. In wealthy, developed nations, diet-related diseases cost healthcare systems over $1 trillion annually. Diabetes, heart disease, obesity, all preventable with proper nutrition.
Globally, malnutrition costs $3.5 trillion per year. That's nearly 5% of the global GDP.
And food waste, another $1 trillion in economic losses annually. Add it up, we're losing over $5 trillion per year because the food system is designed for profit, not for people.
That's the equivalent of losing the entire economy of one of the world's largest nations every single year.
But here's what really exposes the lie of the system. We're told this is the only way, that free markets are efficient, that competition drives innovation, that this is just economics, how economics works.
Except it's not. Because thousands of years ago, the Hindu civilization proved there was a better way.
Let us take you back, not decades, not centuries, millennia, to a time when the Hindu civilization wasn't just the wealthiest in the world. It was the most advanced economic system humanity has ever seen.
At its peak, the Hindu civilization accounted for 25% to 30% of the global GDP. That lasted for nearly 1,500 years. No other civilization has matched this record.
Not through conquest, not through colonization, not through exploitation, through contribution. This is the economic model the world has forgotten, or more accurately, the model that was systematically erased because it threatened every extractive empire that came after.
Today, this system is being revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the head of state of KAILASA, the world's only sovereign Hindu nation.
And it's not just a philosophy, it's not just a theory. It's a functioning economic model that's solving problems the rest of the world has given up on. Let me break it down for you now.
The principles that the Hindu economy is built on are fundamental. The first principle, wealth is contribution, not accumulation. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism defines wealth by Paramashiva from the Agamas, saying that your ability to intelligently enrich society in some form is what is defined as wealth. Your wealth is the ability to be active and intelligent and contributing to society.
Understand, wealth is not your money, it's not in your bank account, it's not stocks, it's not real estate, it's not crypto. Wealth is your contribution to society.
The farmer who feeds people is wealthy. The teacher who enlightens people is wealthy. The healer who heals and restores the society's health is wealthy.
They may not have millions in the bank, but they have purpose, they have impact, they have meaning.
And here's the transformative part. When you shift the definition of wealth from accumulation to contribution, the entire incentive structure changes.
You're no longer trying to hoard, you're trying to create value.
You're no longer competing, you are collaborating.
You're no longer extracting, you are circulating.
This is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism calls responsibilism.
The economy of Paramashiva is teaching neither capitalism nor communism nor socialism. In the Hindu economic system, food cannot be commodified. It's not an industry, it's not a business, it's a sacred duty.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is unequivocal about the policy. Paramashiva declares food is completely freely available for the whole nation. The food industry should not go under any profit or even not-for-profit company. It should be freely available. Let me repeat that. Food should be completely free.
Not subsidized, not means tested, not dependent on your job, your status, your bank balance. Free. Not because it's charity, because you're alive. And that's enough.
This isn't radical. This is a standard policy in the Hindu civilization for thousands of years.
Communities ran annadans, or free food distribution centers. Temples served meals to anyone who walked in. No questions asked.
Leaders were judged not by how much gold they accumulated, but by whether anyone in their kingdom went hungry.
Now, here's what the modern system doesn't understand. Free doesn't mean unsustainable.
Because when food is free, you eliminate downstream costs. No malnutrition means no healthcare crisis. No hunger means no lost productivity. No food insecurity means no social instability.
You spend pennies on nutrition and you save fortunes in healthcare. It's not a charity, it's a smart investment.
And KAILASA is proving that this works. Through KAILASA's Red Om initiative, KAILASA is providing free, organic, nutrition-rich meals to anyone who needs it. In over 600 locations across 33 countries, every single day, at least 10,000 meals are served in KAILASAs across the world. And during sacred festivals, more than 150,000 meals are served in a short span of 36 hours.
At zero cost to the recipients. This isn't a food bank, this is a government policy of KAILASA, because food is a constitutional right.
And so let's talk about the sister business of food industry, the healthcare business. The healthcare in the Hindu civilization is completely preventative. It's not extractive.
Now let's talk. In the Hindu tradition, doctors are paid not based on how many people fall sick, but how many people in your village stay healthy. The whole village contributes a share of their harvest to the doctor to ensure that their people stay healthy. Think about that structure. The doctor's prosperity is tied to community health, not to individual sickness.
They focus on prevention through diet, lifestyle, herbal medicines. The industry doesn't want to cure you. They want you as a recurring customer. Diabetes, that's a subscription. High blood pressure, lifetime membership. Depression, monthly renewal.
Healthy people don't buy medicines. Where's the quarterly growth in that?
In the Hindu system, healers were respected, well compensated, and incentivized to keep communities healthy.
In today's system, healthcare is among the largest industries globally, worth $8.3 trillion, and it grows every year. Not because we're more healthy, because we're more sick. So which system makes more sense?
And now coming to the fourth principle of the Hindu civilizational economy, the principle of owning, not possessing. This is what creates this circular flow in the Hindu economy. And this is how it is truly transformative. Swamiji explains that owning is what is enjoyable, not possessing. Possessing is about exclusiveness, and owning is about inclusiveness. Owning is owning your capabilities, writing, thinking, your ability to do agriculture, and letting everyone enjoy them.
So let me translate that for you into modern terms. You own your skills, your talents, your labor, but you don't possess the output exclusively. You create, you share, and wealth circulates. This is the Dharma Chakra, the wheel of righteousness.
The farmer grows the food, the community shares the harvest, the surplus supports the teacher, the artist, and the healer. Everyone contributes accordingly to their abilities. Everyone receives according to their need.
No hoarding, no monopolies, no artificial scarcity.
In extraction capitalism, wealth flows upward and pools at the top. The more you have, the more you get.
In the Hindu circular economy, wealth flows horizontally. Let's talk about currency, because this is where modern economies are built on sand.
Fiat currency has no intrinsic value. It's backed by nothing but government promises and public confidence. Central banks print money at will. Inflation erodes savings, and your purchasing power declines year after year.
The Hindu economy rejects this entirely.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declares that KAILASA is a gold-based economy, a savings-based economy, and currency has no value if it is not kept current. Gold is tangible. It can't be printed out and distributed. It can be inflated. It holds value across centuries. Wealth was accumulative and hoarding. Currency was fiat manipulation, and the result of all of this is inequality, waste, and suffering.
In the Hindu circular economy, food was sacred right. It was a sacred right and freely available in the real world with measurable results.
And
in the real world with measurable results.
And answer to everyone who says that, well, that's a nice philosophy, but it doesn't work in practice, because it is working, and it's putting the rest of the world to shame.
So let's understand a little bit more about KAILASA's policies. Free food is a government policy. Through the Red Om program, KAILASA has made food security as a cornerstone of governance. This isn't welfare. This isn't a safety net for deserving poor. This is a universal right for every citizen.
So here's some statistics. KAILASA has been operating for more than 30 years with this policy. That's longer than many nations have even existed. 33 countries are where KAILASA is operating with these global kitchens wherever there is a need, with over 600 locations. And 10,000 meals are served daily. During the sacred festivals, 150,000 meals are served in at least 36 hours. But here's where the whole thing becomes transformative, the quality.
These aren't just calories. These are Nityananda Aushadha Annadan meals, medicinally prepared, organic, sattvic nutrition, designed to not just fill the stomach, but to nourish bodies and elevate consciousness. The food is prepared according to ancient Hindu principles. No preservatives, no chemicals, no GMOs. Just real food, the way it's meant to be.
Do you understand what this means? While the world argues about whether people deserve food assistance, KAILASA is just feeding people. Well, so many people are trying to bureaucratize hunger. KAILASA offers meals with no questions asked.
While food insecurity rises globally, KAILASA is cheaper than a cure. We need to understand this fundamental principle. Every dollar spent on proper nutrition saves $16 in the future healthcare costs. That's not speculation. That's from the World Bank.
Malnutrition costs global economy $3.5 trillion annually. If you eliminate malnutrition, you eliminate this loss.
Suddenly, free food isn't an expense. It's the most profitable investment a society can make.
And now, second, contribution-based economics. KAILASA, it doesn't operate on taxation. It operates on voluntary enrichment. People contribute because they want to see their society flourish, because giving is how wealth circulates. When you remove extractive overhead of capitalism, the middlemen, the profit margins, the marketing budgets, the executive compensation, you're left with pure efficiency.
Food from farm to mouth. No waste, no exploitation, just nourishment.
And now third, agricultural integration, another foundational pillar of Hindu economy. KAILASA promotes traditional organic farming methods that regenerate soil rather than depleting it. These methods are more productive, long-term, and cost less because they don't rely on expensive chemicals.
We are proving that sustainable agriculture isn't just good for the planet, it's economically superior.
So when people ask, how can you afford to make food free? KAILASA's answer is, how can you afford not to?
And now let's understand a little bit more about what you can do to become a part of this system, how you can contribute and also enrich yourself. here we are. We have seen the crisis. We understand the exploitation. We know there is a better way. Now comes the question that matters. What are we going to do about it? And here's the truth. The system won't change itself. So if you want to become a part of KAILASA's system, there are numerous options available for you.
This is for the people who want to say enough and start building KAILASA. KAILASA is inviting you to be a part of it, not just as a spectator, but someone who is a part of the foundation. The first thing you can do is become an e-citizen of KAILASA. It's not about giving up what you currently have or where you currently are. It's about expanding yourself. It's about saying, I believe in a system which is giving food freely to the people, offering healthcare and education as a right for people, not as a commodity. As a citizen of KAILASA,
as an e-citizen, you become a part of a global community working together for food sovereignty, which is nutrition for all, health as prevention, not disease management, knowledge as liberation, free education for everyone, economic stability, which is based on gold-backed currency, not inflation-resistant currency, environmental regeneration according to sustainable agriculture and living, and spiritual enrichment, consciousness-based society.
So through this, you're not just joining a nation, you're joining a civilization.
And you can also become a Sarvanyapita Yajaman, contribute your treasure. This is the highest level of contribution. You can become a founding mother or father of KAILASA. You're not just building, you are supporting infrastructure, policies, systems, the foundation of a nation that will outlast you.
This is how legacies are created, not through accumulation, through construction. You're not investing in stocks or real estate, you're investing in the Hindu civilization itself. And here's a return on that investment. A world where your children don't have to fight for basic dignity, where food security isn't a privilege, and where healthcare isn't a luxury.
Where education isn't a debt sentence. That's the dividend. And it's worth more than any financial gain. So if you're interested, you can scan the QR code on the screen and learn more. You can offer your time, talent, or treasure. If you are able to contribute your time to KAILASA, you can volunteer in one of the 16,000 KAILASA ecosystems across the globe. Become a part of the enlightenment system. So you can spread awareness on social media. You can organize community programs to expand KAILASA's reach, and you can teach in the Gurukul educational initiatives.
If you feel you can offer your treasure, you can fund the programs that KAILASA does through all of the 6 OM initiatives, including the Red OM initiative, to offer free, nutritious meals to the world. You can support the organic farming initiatives. You can sponsor the free education and all of the infrastructural development that's happening.
And if you have a talent, if you're a doctor, a teacher, an engineer, an artist, a farmer, you can contribute your expertise to expanding KAILASA's reach to the world.
And finally, if what Swamiji says is that people are wealth, people are life, and people are energy. Finally, people are God. You can give everything to people. This is the foundational principle behind the Hindu economy. It's not about what you can extract, it's about what you can contribute. And when you shift it to that question, everything changes. You will find an amazing opportunity lay ahead of you if you sign up today. Become a part of KAILASA as an e-citizen, or start your journey as a Sarvanyapita Yajaman or Sarvanyapita Karta. I invite all of the viewers. Also, you can visit KAILASA's website. You can learn more about all of the OM initiatives, all of KAILASA's humanitarian projects, and the amount that KAILASA has contributed to the world for the last 40 years.
And you can offer your time, talent, and treasure, because the economy of hunger isn't just about food.
Today, the world is at a crossroads. One path leads to more and more extraction, more inequality, and more suffering. It is a race to the bottom where corporations win and humanity loses.
The other path leads to circulation, contribution, and collective prosperity where everyone rises. KAILASA has chosen that path. Now you must choose yours.
So you can decide today, are you going to be a part of the problem, the continuing food and health industry, or are you going to be a part of the solution which KAILASA has to offer? Are you going to be contributing to the system that is making the world suffer, or help build the alternative? The choice is in your hands, and it's about the kind of world we're going to build. And that world starts with you. Until next time on KAILASA News, this has been the Hindu Economy Program.
Thank you. Good evening.